Holy crap, it's dark in here. Oh, hey man, and welcome to my guide. Today we're going to be taking on Krill. And despite what some troubled souls on Reddit want you to believe, it's not that hard. So here are the only things that you absolutely need. You have to have access to God War's dungeon, which requires 60 strength or 60 agility just to enter. You also need 70 hit points to get to Krill's area. Don't shoot the messenger, man. It's not my fault. I don't make the rules. You also need partial completion of the Troll Stronghold quest, but an easier way to get there is to focus on your combat achievements. Easy tier gives you 3 teleports a day. Hard tier gives you unlimited teleports straight to the dungeon. And the last one for me, man, is the Bofa, or the Bow of Fair Dinin, and you do need it. With its 4-tick attack speed and its range, it's what makes the method work. No, you cannot bring a crossbow. I'm going to say it again because someone is going to reach out to me in DMs or leave a comment. No, you cannot bring a crossbow. Bad. Don't do it. You technically don't need it, but I am going to consider the crystal armor a soft requirement since it buffs the Bofa by so much, and with it, Krill really can't hang. So I'll show you my gear setup and a couple inventory examples of what I would use when I was coming out here. And if you disagree with it, or if you want to do something different, then you're a stupid idiot, you're wrong, and I hate you. I'm just kidding, man. If you're a main account, upgrade where you can, spend your GP. I'm not your dad, I'm not going to tell you what to do. And if you're an Iron Man, you survived the Red Prison. There's alternatives. My gear should be pretty relatable though. So here's what I'm rocking with, and the first 4 slots I want to talk about are the cape, the arrows or the pocket slot, the gloves, and the boots. In these 4 slots, you want to try and fit in a Zamorak item, ideally one that you will wear during the boss fight, and optionally a Saradomin item. In the Zamorak area, there are only Zamorak minions. That's why the Saradomin item is optional. As soon as you enter God War's dungeon, there's a couple of Saradomin dickheads that'll try and knock your block off. Super annoying. Try and solve it if you can. The glove slot I want to talk about very quickly. Barrow's gloves only have 1 singular range accuracy over God bracers. So if you have God bracers, like Zamorak bracers, leave the Barrow's gloves at home, solve it there. I wear ancient boots because it matches my Bofa, and I bank it next, so works out kind of nicely. Moving on to the helmet. I'm on task as I'm recording this, so Slayer Helm's bonus is better than the Crystal Helm bonus. If you're not on task, wear the Crystal Helm. And I have an Anguish, so I wear an Anguish. Nothing more to it than that. If I didn't have an Anguish, I'd wear a Fury. If I didn't have a Fury, fuck it, I'd wear a Glory. Why not? And the ring, I don't have a defense for this. I'm just an Iron Man, and demonic gorillas hate me. I've only ever got 1 Zenite, so I have an Archer's ring. Wear a Suffering if you have a Suffering. Here's an example of an inventory that I was using at some point during my grind. This one is very conservative and focused on survival. So going through the potions really quickly, couple of divine range pots, couple Saradomin brews, 5 restores, 2 Sandfuse, and 2 staminas. The only thing I really want to clarify here is that Sandfuse are totally optional as long as you have a way to clear poison. Sandfuse just cure poison as well as give you prayer, so you kind of get 2 birds stoned at once there. The other thing I want to point out is I have a trident. That is for no other reason than I wanted to bring a staff, and I died in the wilderness with all my other staffs. So you don't have to bring a trident, there's no secret strategy here. I bring a mage switch, so Aram's top and bottom worked out pretty nicely for me, and then a blowpipe for the special attack, just to get a few extra heals. The rest of the inventory is hard food. I elected for anglers because I have anglers. If you don't, just bring sharks, it's not a big deal. And you'll want a rune pouch with blood barrage runes. These guys do not drop bones, so bones to peaches is not an option here. This is where you will get most of your HP back. Not a requirement, but for long trips, it kinda is. Here's the boss room, not really much to it. I'm gonna keep this very simple because you're gonna learn a lot more from seeing me do it. But essentially, all we're trying to do is move along these straight lines, attacking Krill from the green as we head towards the door, and attacking from the red as we head towards the altar. Seems very simple, but it's very easy to screw this up. When we're on the end tiles, this is where the magic happens. We attack Krill, and then we left-click the door when we are on the far eastern green tile. This creates a red X and lets us get through Krill without him attacking. We run straight through him. When we're on the far red tile, we attack Krill, and then left-click the altar. Again, this creates the red X and allows us to not take damage. Other than getting fucked up and dying, and you will die here, trust me, a way that we're gonna know that we're doing this correctly is these middle tiles. So take this green one I have highlighted for example. I'm going to try and attack Krill from that green tile, and he pushes me 1 tile to the west. In no way am I trying to end up on that tile. I'm attacking from the green, but his character model is so big, that's where I'm going to end up. Same thing happens when we're on the red tile following the red X on the altar, so the one I'm hovering. I want to attack Krill from this tile. He will then push me one tile to the east. Last thing I promise, before we get to run around all willy-nilly up and down this line, we enter the door to the north. Our first job is going to be make our way east and find the tile, one tile to the west of the green tile. That's right, not the green tile. The tile, one tile to the west of the marked tile. This is the only time you have to do this, and as soon as Krill attacks you, you red X on the door, and the kill begins. Alright man, let's do a couple of kills together. First things first, we got a setup here. Prayer's always at 0 when you enter this area. I like to sip a brew first to get extra defense, then some combination of restores and sandfuse. Again, if you didn't bring sandfuse, just make sure that you're immune to poison as you enter the room. Sip your range pot, and if it's divine, I'd recommend an angler. Krill's special attack gets triggered by protect from melee, and it hits for upwards of 49, so be careful. When you enter the room, pray melee, put on Eagle Eye and Steel Skin, or if you got rigor, go ahead and use rigor. Once you're inside, fuck it, we ball. We head on over one tile to the west of the marked green. As soon as Krill attacks, red X at the door. I like to switch to Prey from range because the range boy does the most damage, and if you do this right, Krill won't attack you. So as you can see here, we nailed both of our red X's, and Krill, for some reason, just lets us pass right through. It's perfect. I just noticed my mage cape is still on, so let's fix that. And let's talk about the timing. So when you want to initiate your next move or your next click, whether that's advancing to the next tile or red Xing on the door like I just did, you time that up based on your character animation. What I mean by that is when your character raises their bow or begins their attack, that's when you want to make your next move. Or if you're a psycho and play with game sounds, you can go by sound. Totally up to you. Once Krill goes down, we want to focus on the mage boy. Get out your blowpipe, and if you're low on health, which I am not in this situation, launch a spec. I'll probably use a spec just for the lulz because I love seeing that thing hit 0 right on cue. That's perfect. Try and also take a look at the minions. As you can see here, the range minion is attacking on a different tick than the mage and the meleeer, so you can save some HP if you want to flick in that situation. Once you bring the meleeer over to the ranger, if you brought freezes, you could opt to freeze them and then move away. That way you don't have to worry about flicking your prayers, but also you won't end up in situations like I'm in here where they're attacking on the same tick. If you're low on health, it can be very annoying, but in my current situation, there's really nothing to worry about. One of the toughest parts of this fight is honestly getting the minions down and having enough time to prep for the next kill. It does take a little bit of practice, but I believe in you, man. Once these guys go down, we're going to head over to the altar. You can use that once every 10 minutes to recharge your prayer. So we're going to be able to start this next kill at full prayer and full HP, which is definitely ideal. Usually I would walk everywhere if I was trying to make these trips as long as possible, but since I brought 2 staminas, we might as well, run around a little bit. If we brought it, might as well use it. Go ahead and collect your loot, and then we are going to head to the red tile all the way to the west for every kill going forward. That's where we're going to start. I should have said this earlier, that's my bad, but with your quick prayers, you want the prayers we had activated earlier other than pray range instead of pray melee. As soon as Krill spawns in, activate your quick prayers, attack, and then red X at the altar. The way that timing was originally described to me is you wait for Krill to turn and look at you, then you attack him, then you click the altar. I prefer to wait until he spawns in, hit my quick prayers, hit him, hit the altar. Whichever one works for you, go ahead and run with that. And then basically if we do it right, it's the same idea. We are staying in line with these tiles, and as you can see, Krill is not attacking us. If you have to eat during your kill, which I might have to here, bear with me, this is going to be a little bit confusing. You cannot do so on the end tile. Like for example here where I need to red X. Instead, I would have to eat here and then try and attack like I normally would from that next green tile. My character is still going to be delayed because of the hard food, so he will not launch an attack. But if I maintain the rhythm, the kill will just proceed as normal. So just a little tidbit there. If we pay attention to the minions right now, you'll see that all 3 are attacking on a different tick, meaning if I do this perfectly, I will take 0 damage. Another example of why it's very important in this phase to watch the minions and identify who's attacking and when. Alright, that's it for me, man. That's my take on the altar door method at Krill. I hope it helps you out, and if it did, please consider liking the video or subscribing to the channel. I also have an Ironman series that follows the progress of this account, so if that's something you're interested in, I will link that in the video description. Our community also has a Discord, which is full of excellent people if you're looking to meet new people to raid with or PVM with, and we also have a cult that you can join in-game. Special thank you to the channel members, and I will put their names on the screen now.